The problem with basically the water flooding and water injection is okay that you can have some sort of more oil at the surface, but the side problem with the water is escaping. That's a lot of people didn't care about that, especially the operator side. I'm working right now with ADNOC in Emirates, and we are basically giving them the solution for asphalting and scale both together, which is critically important. In the world, we have about more than 18 to 19 billion dollars of damage to the operators because of the scales and asphalt and stuff like that. So in this presentation, unfortunately, Professor Jarayan couldn't make it from, he's a professor of pilot watts, that most of them, pilot watts level in the oil and gas industries, and we are basically a Canadian United States company based in Houston, Calgary, and this presentation is specifically about how scaling root causes and how basically is the approach to that, which is a multidisciplinary systems. So in the first page of the introduction is a mechanism of scale formation typically, the inhibitor retention, and also the system that we try to mitigate it, which is basically technically, we explain that, and I'm very happy to share the presentation with you whenever is required. Static absorption, which is very important. We talk about the thermodynamic of the scales, and then we go with the experimental section, which is again static absorption and compatibility test, and also some sort of experimental results that we have within the different fields in different parts of the world. So the mass balance analysis is all about the mass, and basically we have the formulation that I can show you in the next one. Yeah. So it goes through. Can we go to the second one? Yeah. Yeah, mechanism of the scale formation. So in the carbonate scale that you can see, wellbore and production facility, it can come with a different formula, but we basically made some sort of general formula, which is starting with that one, and the second one is the sulfurate scales, which is the second one kindly mixing, and also the concentration of the salts for the dehydration as well. So this is just a symbol of the formula that we approach the scales challenges typically. You go to the next one. Yeah. So prevention of the scale formation is a very difficult job. So this is what I explained to you earlier. There are a lot of water flooding activities in Iraq and different parts of the world. But look at the challenges of the scales coming up after all those things. In States we have a lot of frac business, and the frac is causing all the scales all the way up to the time that we want to basically discharge the salted water, which is also one of the main cause of the scale as well. So in this basically diagram and picture, we basically mention about the overflush and back production. So in the shotting with the back production and the pre-flush also, this is two models that we designed for showing basically the compatibility of the formula that we approach to the scale applications. So here is the inhibiting basically systems that we have with the two scale, which is one is absorption and one is the precipitation. In both basically picture, we show how basically the scale is going in different solutions that they are basically making together, and different basically retention determination and also squeeze lifetime. We don't basically do like chemical companies. We do some sort of analysis case to case, specifically for the field because of the different behavior and reservoir characteristics, which is basically now showing in the case studies that we can share with you. This is basically a static absorption curve that we have it here. I think this is for one of the Pakistan fields, if I remember well. So we basically formulated and designed this type of curve to understand what is the basically the the best approach, as I said, with the multidisciplinary things that we do for the scale inhibition and also, treatment of the scales, even also before reaching to the surface and make some problems. Yeah, so the introduction again is about just summarize basically the 6 categories and starting again with the intro, experimental, mass balance, and also the H2S. H2S mineralization is one of the very key root causes of the scaling nowadays. So a lot of H2S, it can basically, helping creating the scales in different zones in the reservoirs. And that would be also another approach that we have specifically for H2S treatment, which is not causing the scale in the end. Yeah, in basically carbonate, we have here one of the experiments that we have. So the one which is basically with the red line, the TPMP, and that one also is showing basically more basically workable approach, and with the different limestone, dolomitic, and also calcitic different pH numbers that we can see also with the temperature, which we experiment on that one in one of the fields. So test conditions. So in test condition, according to different application and also case study that we have, reservoir data is giving you some sort of things which is
I have 2 minutes.
yeah, which is coming with the different test conditions, and which is this type of test condition is very important to analyze the scales, because the scale is very wide and crazy stuff, and it can always basically, can make some problems, big problems also for the production. You can pass the other ones also, yeah. Okay, so here basically is it's showing specifically for dolomite, calcite, and also the reaction of the scales, how it forms with the different type of minerals that we can see from the magnesium, from different stuff, calcium, stuff like that, and then according to those things, we can bring up the solution for the companies which is facing hugely with the scales. Yeah, you can go to the end, I think. Yeah. So all of this formulation and curve is specifically designed to understand and analyze the scales behavior and scales movement, that we can mitigate it or going to the root causes to just basically get rid of that as much as possible. And yeah, can go ahead. Yeah, this one, yeah, if you back that. This is also basically a production of H2S, which is super basically helpful to create some type of special scales. So we basically go to H2S because if we manage the H2S, we can have basically very lower scale in the different zones. And this takes it, we will basically approach with different approach with H2S scavenging, which we have basically innovated some sort of new chemicals for special chemicals which is related to the H2S scavenging. And we treated also, because we have also the chemical injection facilities, which is giving the integrated service for that.